And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday, January 29th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome here on a Wednesday morning. And Wednesdays, you know, we talk about Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, simple banking, simply better. And our big question this morning is, quite honestly, where is Bob McDonald or his designee to do the commercial? But let me go ahead and introduce one of my guests here this morning. Judge Barry Tatum is going to be with us. And, Judge, good morning to you.
Good morning, and thanks for having me out, Coleman.
Well, we're going to talk about Cedar Stone Bank a little bit here. You can chime in occasionally or whatever, but you've been on Wednesdays when you did a commercial with Bob McDonald or somebody from Cedar Stone.
Known Bob for years, before Cedar Stone existed.
Yeah, we well, that's good too. We talk about the three locations, three different communities that it serves, and each one with in of course a different location, two in Wilson County, and then just a few miles past the county line, Donaldson. But three separate communities and three separate banks, but they all the building looks similar.
They're very distinctive, very attractive. You know, a lot of times. And this isn't to take a knock on anything, but you remember the Commerce Union Bank with the blue brick?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
At the time, that was the look. And just like Art Deco was previously. But I think Cedar Stone's architecture, I'm not sure who designed that, came up with it, but it's held up over time, and I think will for a long time. Very attractive.
Yeah, and of course, we do remind people you can get your loan at Cedar Stone, and that's one of the things Bob talks about most weeks about what the Fed's going to do next, and sometimes he guesses a little bit, but interest rates were at an all-time low. They jumped up. They're down a little bit, and
they're not at an all-time high. They've still got a ways to go for that. Thank goodness.
But anyway, they. One of the slogans, of course, we talk about too: simple banking, simply better. And I can say from experience, I have an account or two with them, and I do like the way you bank at Cedar Stone, and the people there he has a really fine staff of people who take care of you, who know what they're doing, and it's. If you want to do banking the old-fashioned way, you can. Like 40 years ago,
paper checks.
Yes, there's no such thing as internet. If you wanted to know the balance in your account at that time, you called in maybe or went by and asked, but there was no such thing as getting it on the internet and seeing what's the latest check that's made it through.
There's a comedy skit Tim Wilson did where a bank would charge you $3 to check your balance, and he said he would call into a bank. It wasn't Cedar Stone; it was some other bank, and he said called in and said, "How much is my balance?" And they said $300. Oh, well, $297. And he said how much? And she said $294. So you don't have those fees in there. You don't have those fees in there.
No, and the other thing we'll talk about a little bit here is the Simply Better free checking account. And they have had free checking at Cedar Stone ever since they began 20-something years ago. And I guess it's 20 years ago last year, 21 now.
Yeah.
And it's just a wonderful way to get started, to establish that banking relationship with a free checking account, and you get to know them, they get to know you. Then when it's time to borrow some money, you've already got your foot in the door.
And if you don't, you can find a cosigner. But no, Bob and his team down there. Of course, Bob comes from a lineage of banking Willie. His father, who
did you know Willie?
I met him a few times. Yeah. Not anything close certainly, but he was had the reputation of being a banker's banker. I guess you would say for decades. 60 years, and
longer. Yeah,
he was in banking longer than you've been in radio, and so it's he had seen the good times, the bad times, and had withstood the weather. And of course, Bob's son is in the bank as well.
Right. And Robert.
Yep.
Robert runs the Donaldson office. Well, One thing about Willie that I've told this, and it's been said several times, but I always like that. People ask him, did he remember all of his customers? He had a lot of them.
Right.
Well, no, he didn't remember all of his customers. Remember those that didn't pay him back.
Well, yeah, those are the ones that would stand out because there's probably a lot fewer of them.
All right, well, let's close it out here for Cedar Stone this morning. Again, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. Cedar Stone Bank, Bob McDonald, of course, is the president and CEO. And we're about 9:30 after the hour. Judge Barry Tatum is my guest, and he brought a special guest with him this morning. I'll be honest, and yesterday was one of those days, Judge, when I look at my calendar and the next day is blank.
Oops.
At a minute after 8 o'clock or so, I called you yesterday, and that took care of one. And within 5-6 minutes, I had, and I'm not going to tell who, you'll find out on the second half this morning, I called this other person. I had found a note in the back of my legal pad here that I'd written when they were here the last time, and I was supposed to call them back. It had a February date in there. And so I called, and she had forgotten about it as well. But anyway, she'll be on the second half this morning.
You're not going to tell us who it is?
No. You're not even going to tell you. But thanks for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you have done for this station, and you have made election night coverage just a time to look forward to, and you and I have done this with our team here, of course, the help of Billy and MJ and Susie and whomever else, but it's been a great ride, and I do thank you.
Well, that's awful kind of you to say, and I'm grateful to the friendship that you and I have, and I have with all the folks out here at the station as well. But don't forget, the radio station does a lot for this community. And I was just telling my guest, talked into coming out here with us this morning, just how vital this station is to keep up with what's going on in the community. And after you called yesterday, I was thinking about how we could lead into the project that we're talking about, and you think about communities. What do you find in a town? And places that are a certain size, they'll have a library, or they'll have a florist, or a hospital, a fire department. And as they grow, there are more and more things that make up the fabric of that community. And Lebanon has grown, as we all know, tremendously. But one of the things that I had always heard of growing up was a Boys and Girls Club. Mm-hmm. Didn't know what it was. I kind of imagined it was something that you would find in an urban area like Nashville or Atlanta or New York or the larger cities. But Murfreesboro's had one for over 30 years. Shelbyville has one that they've started. And a few months ago, I got an email from Joe Adams, and who's a neighbor of mine and part of the fabric of our community. Joe Adams and a group of folks were wanting to have an organizational meeting about possibly bringing a Boys and Girls Club to Wilson County, and that's when I met Francis Garcia. So I'll let you take over this point about trying to find out a little bit about Francis.
Well, I'm going to need a little help from you as well, but Francis Garcia, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, let me just ask you a little bit, because I don't recall meeting you before, but
yes,
you live here in Lebanon?
I do. I've been in Tennessee since 2001, ex-military, and decided to relocate and live here in Middle Tennessee.
Well, tell us a little more about yourself and your background and so on, if you would.
So I've been in Middle Tennessee for over 21 years, as I mentioned, and I worked for the Tennessee Department of Health for several years. I also worked at Meharry Medical College. And during the pandemic, I decided to live in Wilson County. So I've been here since 2019.
So what do you do most of the time?
Most of the time, I work for a nonprofit called TN Voices that focuses on mental health access across the state of Tennessee. So I manage a few different grants to ensure that our children and adults who are most vulnerable receive those services.
And what got you into this?
I've always had a passion for at-risk youth, what they categorize as an at-risk youth. I was a kid that was very troubled, was kicked out of several schools, that had a a passion for doing the wrong things, and I had a lot of adults that kind of steered me in the right direction. So I really do believe that when we have intentionality to protect our children and keep them safe, we build men like yourself, men like the judge, and men like me.
Well, how did you two get together?
Go ahead, Francis.
So initially how I even got involved in the project was that there was a conversation that was happening in the community around the Boys and Girls Club and creating additional infrastructure for our children. I was already doing some engagement with the school districts around mental health and stigma prevention within the children. And subsequently, I partnered with Coach Stokes out of J. Beer Middle School, and we did a project called 7 on 7. And I invited 7 men to come and tell 7 reasons why they are who they are. And subsequently, that led to the kids advocating for their need, that they needed access to more, that they needed places to gather, that they needed access to more mentors. There was a lot of issues around food insecurity and drug addiction. Also reached out to the Titans. Thank God for them. They gave me 100 tickets for the kids to go watch them play the second week of the season against the Patriots. But what blew my mind was when some of the kids got there. They had never been outside of Lebanon, and one kid started crying because he had never seen a football stadium. Now, think about that. There was a kid that cried because he had never seen a football stadium. Now, for all of us,
how old approximately?
These kids, 8th graders. So
okay.
Yeah, these were my 8th grade group on their way to high school. Subsequently, we ended up, after all of that, gathering a lot of information from them. So there was a lot of feedback from the kids to the adults. We ended up funding their football banquet at the end of the year. Demas provided a discount. We were able to feed the parents, invited the head football coach from Lebanon High School to be our guest speaker for the night. So we wanted to do a warm handoff. So these kids that wanted to try out for the football team subsequently knew an adult that they felt comfortable with. And it was great. It was great. Some of those kids now are on the freshman team and are some of the best athletes on the team. But I go back to how we were able to get here with the Boys and Girls Club. We invited those same kids at a dinner that we planned at the Lebanon Golf Club to come and tell us adults, what do they need? And they advocated for themselves. I will tell you this, we as adults were crying. And when we walked out of that room, we were charged with a responsibility to create something for these kids. And then comes the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, I guess the next question is, where do we go from here? And we've got to take a break first, yes, and then we will talk about that. So stay with us for more right here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get a battery installed in most vehicles, $199.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Clearing a wreck at Riley Parkway at Whites Creek Pike. It's really heavy now as we check it out live on 24 westbound. Coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County up through the Antioch area. It's also picked up with more volume in the last 15-20 minutes, leaving Wilson County down I-40 westbound into Hermitage over into Donaldson, where it's crowded there on 40 west at Donaldson Pike. Hey, when you need dependable towing here in Middle Tennessee for your car or big truck, call STR Towing and Recovery. Check them out at strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Cumberland Phoenix Baseball is back in action and chasing another Mid-South Conference championship with a big 50-game schedule, including a whopping 35 home games. That gives Phoenix fans plenty of chances to catch a game or two at Woody Hunt Stadium, also known as the Six, where all U.S. military veterans get in free. You can hear every game on these radio stations or on GoCumberlandAthletics.com. The season starts on Saturday, February 1st and Sunday, February 2nd. We'll see you at the Six.
It's tax time, and Cars Unlimited Tax Service is locally owned and has 33 years of experience in preparing taxes. They do upfront loans of $250 to $6,000. They're also an authorized IRS e-file provider. Call 615-449-2955 or stop by 1006 West Main Street in Lebanon. Cars Unlimited Tax Service stands ready to help you prepare your taxes.
And we continue here on a Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us. Judge Barry Tatum is here, and we have Francis Garcia, and we're talking about Boys and Girls Club. Now, at what stage has this been formed? You up and operating, so to speak?
Yeah, we are. We are at the stage now where we've gathered everyone that was interested. We have well over 35 partners that are in the room, made up of the community. So a lot of nonprofits are in the room, banking systems, Cumberland University Provost President is also in the room. So we have a lot of key individuals that are going to make it work. The way that I reached out to ensure that we had all of the right pieces was because I visited a lot of the Boys and Girls Club. For those that don't know, the Boys and Girls Club has been around since 1860. Currently, they serve well over 2.4 million children across the nation. So I visited a lot of those institutions, and I wanted to learn who are the key individuals that make up the board that make it successful. So I was intentional in reaching out to those in the community to get them in the room based on what I learned. And it happened. And it's all good people. It's not just myself. It's so many others. Judge Tatum, it's been an outpouring of understanding from the community to understand we have to create more for our children. Because from 3 to 7 is typically when our youth are committing crime. If they have nowhere to go and nowhere to gather, how are we going to prevent crime from happening? Instead of being reactive, we want to be proactive. That's the goal behind this project.
It sounds like your initial reaction has been very good from the children we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Now, is this just boys? Is it boys and girls?
It's boys and girls.
Yeah.
The football team, that was kind of like the spear that kind of led to so many of these different things, but definitely is boys and girls. They're going to be co-founders of these Boys and Girls Club. So when we do our ribbon cutting, if you will, they'll be there. So far we've built our advisory board. We have our executive committee as well, and we're moving forward. Everyone has went through their background checks. We're setting up our next meeting to sign off on the MOU, and we'll be moving forward.
Well, Judge, no doubt you're enthused about this, and you see a lot of the bad that happens in our society. As a judge, those are in court before you and the other general sessions judges in all of this. You must, and I mean the fact that you wanted to bring Mr. Garcia, you wanted to bring Francis out here this morning, says a lot about your interest here, but talk a little bit more about that and share some of your enthusiasm if you can.
Well, this is, like I said earlier, this is a step that indicates that your community is growing and becoming more responsive to the needs. And just, if we were a smaller place, we wouldn't have a a Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We wouldn't have a fire department. We wouldn't have city parks that are out there. But as a city grows, and there are needs. Some of them are necessities and some of them are not, and certainly a community can thrive without a Boys and Girls Club. But as Francis was saying just a moment ago, you think about a young child, and a lot of times in a single parent home, they're latchkey kids that do come home, and from 3 to 7, as Francis was saying, that's a prime time for getting into mischief. And but the Boys and Girls Clubs offers an opportunity for a safe space, a safe place for young people to go. And while they may not be told you're learning something during this period of time, it's also an opportunity to instruct, to inspire, and to protect kids as they grow up. The one in Rutherford County handles kids that are pre-K all the way up through teenagers. Of course, they're segregated by ages, and but they have activities. Some are self-led, most are staff-led, and they have some volunteers, but it's a lot of paid staff that they have. We've got a great resource here in our community with Cumberland University, with a lot of young people who want to get into child development or child psychology or an education. This is a volunteer opportunity for them to be engaged in that respect. But we also have an opportunity, and as Francis was saying just a minute ago, all three of us seated at this table didn't get to where we are unless we had an adult who took an interest in us.
Amen.
And not necessarily our mom or dad. They're going to be interested regardless. But I'm talking about somebody who was a teacher, a coach, a neighbor, a preacher, someone took an interest in us and gave us an opportunity or made us think beyond ourselves. Francis was just talking about this young man who had never seen a football stadium. We started a mentoring program at Walter J. Baird. They took a field trip to the state capitol last year. And we've also done classes at Sammy B's where we actually sit down with silverware and tablecloths and china. And I had a young lady who I was seated with at this one of these things, and a middle schooler, who said she had never had a Dr. Pepper in a glass with ice before. I had a young man.
Isn't that mind blowing?
And I had a young man who, when they went on the field trip, and that was coordinated by our legislative team, our legislators, who went down there, wore a necktie. And one of his friends on the bus says, "Man, what are you doing wearing a necktie?" And he says, "I want to work at some place like this one day." Wow. And so you just think about it when you're growing up. You think, what can I aspire to do? Well, you aim towards what's familiar.
Yes.
So this is an opportunity to expose young people to the greater world that's out there, and hopefully some opportunities that can be available to them later on.
And we rolled the dice on our children. You know, a lot of us, as the judge mentioned, need mentors. And we need to be intentional at bringing those pieces together. I believe in mentorship even as an adult. I look at the judge as a mentor. I had a godmother who was a correctional officer for over 35 years. And she rolled the dice on me. She bet on me with her love. And I buried her December the 14th. So now I have to roll the dice on somebody else. And hopefully years from now, I can look at them and reflect on the way that people reflect on me.
Okay, where do you go from here? And what may be your biggest need right now?
The biggest need is going to be to have financial support from the community once we get up and running. It's going to require an outpouring of love, an outpouring of mentors to get involved. We're also going to need to hire people. We're going to need to staff this the right way. We're trying to keep it within the city limits. So more to come on that. And I will make sure that once we cut that ribbon, I'll come back to the show and let the audience know that here we are and we need your help and your assistance, Lebanon. Come and love on our children and let's build a better future.
Will this be something where you have regular meetings, place for these youngsters?
Yes, there's going to be access to additional education through Cumberland. There's going to be access to Hersinger University, which is a nursing school. This is a place where, if you think about it, you're creating an audience. Right, and then you get to entertain that audience with many different things. One of them is making sure that there's no need for food insecurity. These children will get a meal. It's affordable child care for parents who can currently not afford. We have a lot of single moms, there's a lot of single dads. There are grandmothers and uncles that are raising children now. So, you know, taking a little bit of the weight off of them by creating something as this. After school program, and then our higher education systems get to come and volunteer. So, for example, our nursing school students from Cumberland can come and volunteer and also be hired by the Boys and Girls Club.
Now, it's going to take some money, I think. I don't know, surely a minimal amount of money, although that's not the whole thing. But where's that going to come from?
That's going to come from the community. It's also going to come through some of the pass-through funds that the Boys and Girls Club of Rutherford County receives. They have, hundreds of years of relationship of pass-through money that we'll be able to get for this project. And then the money that we raise here will stay here in terms of our club. There's a lot of folks that already said, hey, you know what, when you guys are ready, I have this or we have that. So we already have, I would say, well over $150,000 that people are going to submit to this. There are people that believe in this, and there are some people that don't even want to be known, which is really cool. They just want to give you a check for the kids, which is great. So we'll be going out and we'll be championing this. We'll be hosting an event, a fundraising event, sometime in the summer. And again, we'll make sure that the radio show and our Lebanon community is well aware that this is happening, because it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us. So right now we're looking for a building. So if you know anywhere out there, Lebanon community, if you know of somewhere within the city limits, and I'm putting this out as a request, get it to the show so we can take a look at it.
All right. You seem to be really excited about this, Judge.
I am, Coleman, and just to kind of tag along with that, you and I have probably got more days behind us than we have in front of us.
Don't say that, Judge.
And
need you a little longer.
It's just reality. But the thing is, this is a way to have an impact in a good way on a young person's life that's going to be paying dividends after we're gone. So if you can inspire a young person when they're 10 years old, 12 years old to do something, and 40 years later when they're in their mid-40s and we're a memory, they may be able to look back and say, I had an opportunity here. Not necessarily to gain any credit, not to be out front with it, but just to say this was somebody, a group of people who gave me an opportunity.
Yeah, and I think no doubt there are so many of these youngsters who made their parents are probably pretty busy and sometimes maybe
or distracted.
They don't receive some of the attention they would like.
Yes,
they
sir.
feel a little bit neglected or whatever. If somebody shows a little extra interest in them,
Just a little
can mean
warmth.
worlds.
Just a little warmth. That's all these kids need. You would be surprised. When I was at that middle school, I would walk in through that door, and I can tell that a lot of them didn't have a father figure or didn't have a male in their life that was encouraging them, that was just showing them love, just to have a conversation, just to ask, how are you doing today? Some of those kids don't get that from some adults. There are adults that literally walk past their children because they're so caught up with everything that's happening around them.
Well, let me ask one other thing. We can go over a minute or two here, and probably will. But as far as the schools themselves, you have a dialogue. You have are you into the schools themselves to make yourself known and what's happening?
I am. Yeah. So through my own professional work, I have grants that I'm bringing to the school districts in partnership with them to do a lot of prevention around mental health, do a lot of workshops. I really do believe in prevention. I really do believe that the more that we educate our children, the more that we empower them, the more that we have the intentionality to say, let's take that group to the radio station. That is mind-blowing, but that simplicity of that wakes up a young person's mind enough to believe that maybe they can sit in that chair one day, or they can sit where MJ is located. That is the one thing that I want to open the young people up to, and us as adults, because sometimes we lose sight to not recognize that you have less years in front of you that you have behind you. So we got to pay it forward. I'm 44 now, and I hope one day that there's somebody that'll look at me and say, man, that guy made a difference in my life. Yeah. That's the goal.
Well, Judge, you have a final word here this morning.
Well, I certainly appreciate your time, and thank you for calling me. As soon as you called, I thought and asked about being a guest, I immediately thought of Francis, because it's such a great story and such a great opportunity, and in my view, would take Lebanon and ultimately Wilson County to another level.
All right. Well, thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Francis Garcia, really nice to meet you. Thank you, Judge. That's part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more. Please keep it right here, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot, write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Doing a little bit of road work this morning. It's got traffic slow out in Rutherford County on 24 eastbound. It's Sam Ridley. We're seeing a pretty good delay out through there. It looks like it's the same crew that repairs potholes. Again, that's 24 eastbound. It's Sam Ridley. It's running slow into Rutherford County, Murfreesboro area. Traffic's on the increase even more now. 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. It's heavy 40 west. Coming past Donaldson Pike, you got all that traffic pushing in right now on 40 westbound from Wilson County, Mount Juliet area into Davidson County. Hey, when you need dependable towing, make sure you call STR Towing and Recovery. That telephone number, it's easy. It's 615-764-9327. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Simple banking, simply better. Since 2004, that's been our motto at Cedarstone Bank. I'm Bob McDonald. We know that financial decisions can sometimes be complicated, but that doesn't mean solutions have to be. Whether you're buying a new home, renovating your existing home, or buying a car, or maybe you're a business that needs to purchase equipment for the building you operate from, we have all the technology that will allow you to do your banking online or on the telephone, or you can come in one of our beautiful branches and see our great people. With locations in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Nashville, Cedarstone Bank. Simple banking, simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Hey, this is Dr. Derek Gregory, and I'm proud to announce to you the opening of our brand new dental practice, Gregory Dental Group, at 1746 West Main Street, just across the road from Sports Village. Come experience modern dentistry at its best. We're always welcoming new patients, and I truly look forward to taking the best care of all your dental needs. Come by or call us today.
That's Gregory Dental Group, 615-444-0322, or online at myLebanonTNDentist.com. Gregory Dental Group, compassion, knowledge, skill.
We'll have mostly sunny and warm conditions for today. Highs will be in the lower 60s. Partly cloudy tonight, lows in the mid-30s, and then cloudy on Thursday. Showers moving in during the afternoon. Highs will be in the upper 50s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your Severe View forecast, I'm Drew Richards.
And we welcome you to part two of Coleman and Company here on this Wednesday. I had done a little teaser earlier about the lady that I called at the last minute yesterday, but she's with us now. Candy Partee, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to see you, and you have two other people that you have brought with you today. And
yes.
Let me introduce Robin Willis, Executive Director for Historic Lebanon, right?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Nice to have you with us
Thank
again.
you for having us.
And we have the Organization Committee Chair, Mike Rowland. Mike, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having us.
All right. Candy, you've been here before. Robin, you've been here at least once before.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can, Mike Rowland, tell us a little bit about yourself here and get us started.
Sure. So I'm a resident here in Lebanon and retired and enjoying life, and really love the city of Lebanon, Middle Tennessee, and wanted to give back and help. And so I was lucky enough to find Historic Lebanon, where I can bring some of my skills from my workload and experience to help build out the organization and make it more productive.
Tell us a little bit about your past, the good part you'd like us to know.
Well, I was, for the past 25 years, I was management consulting, running around helping large companies and nonprofits like AARP and others to grow and to get better connections and relationships with the audiences that they serve. And so I can help with that here with Historic Lebanon. That's really been my focus.
Where'd you grow up?
Oh, I'm a gypsy. I was basically born in Delaware, but have lived in Maryland, New Jersey, Ohio, Chicago, and now Tennessee, and most recently from Chicago. So I'm a transplant.
Okay, well, is Tennessee the best place you've been?
Absolutely, by far.
That's kind of putting you on the spot.
No, but the nicest people that my wife Rachel and I have ever met are here in Lebanon and Middle Tennessee. This is a great place to live.
Well, thank you very much. All right. Well, Historic Lebanon Main Street's an accredited Main Street community through Main Street America. And Robin, that's what you do. That's your job, right?
Yes.
And I guess we need to talk about your organization mission and remind people a little bit about what's going on, what you're trying to do, what you want to get accomplished.
Absolutely. So our mission at Historic Lebanon Main Street is to preserve, enrich, and promote Lebanon's historic downtown as the vibrant heart of our community. And so we really want to focus on the square and the surrounding neighborhoods, including the Mill and all that area in the Main Street district, to really invite people to come and visit the businesses, visit the events that are happening. There's so much going on. You'll actually see, if you follow us on Facebook, you'll see this morning I'll be posting an event list of everything that's happening in the next month in the Main Street District. And there are so many great events that these businesses are hosting, so many experiences for people in the community to go and enjoy. And we invite people to participate for sure.
All right. Well, Candy, you've been a part of this for a while, I think, and you are the organizational committee chair. So
I am.
Tell us how your history with this organization.
Well, actually, I've only been part of the board I'm in my little over second year, I guess you could say. So, but I've gone to events prior to that and been involved. Plus, I live in the historic district, so I have a real interest in the downtown area and preserving history and bringing people to the downtown and helping them realize that it's a vibrant area with just tons of things to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the last time you were here, I made a little note about, I think it's February the 8th. And,
yes, sir.
I was supposed to call you and let's come and talk about a gala that you're going to have. So you want to talk about that for a minute here? Yes.
February 8th is our Founders Gala. This is the second year, and it is at the Mill that evening starting at 5:30. Dinner at 7:30, and it goes to 11:30. We have all sorts of activities. During dinner, there'll be, the band. I need to talk about the band.
Absolutely.
It's 12 South, and the Mill has told us that that's the best band they've ever heard.
Oh.
So they're going to be doing jazz during dinner. And then they will start playing after dinner, and they change costumes, they change participants, the members of the band, and they rotate, and apparently it's quite a show. So I can't wait to see them.
Now, where are they from?
They're based in Nashville.
Okay.
Is my understanding. So anyway, they're wonderful. But we have dinner that is going to be catered by two fat men. And we have a silent auction and a live auction. Mm-hmm. And Mike's going to maybe highlight some of the things that we're going to be auctioning. And we have 26 sponsors. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yes.
Of local businesses.
All right. Tickets are available, I guess, by now.
Yes, sir. They're $250 a person. And we're selling out fast.
Yeah.
And if you want a ticket, you have to get it by next Monday, the 3rd, because we'll close ticket sales then.
What's the best way, easiest way to get a ticket?
If they go to historiclebanon.com, then they'll see a Founders Gala link, and you can get tickets there.
Historiclebanon.com.
Historic Lebanon.
So that's pretty easy to remember.
Yes.
What?
That's easy to remember.
Okay, sure. Well, it's about 4 minutes before we take a break, and Mike, if you want to, since if you've got maybe the auction items that you'd like to talk about, some of the exciting ones, all of them. Well, it depends on your perspective as how excited you are, but you've got a good lineup, haven't you?
Well, we do. We've had very generous donations to the gala for the auctions, both silent and the live auction, and it's really been amazing to see a group of items for auction that are experiences, and mostly Lebanon and Middle Tennessee experiences. And so we've got some really, really neat stuff.
And you pretty much procured these things yourself?
No, the whole organization did.
Okay, all right.
What's great is we have a great board that is very active in the community, whether they're business owners or people like me who are just very interested in the success of the historic Lebanon, who've gone out to their contacts and arranged for donations that we then sell through the auctions. But we've got experiences that are ranging from small, like a golf outing, and romantic, a bed and breakfast at the Bourbon Trail, for example, to some of the larger things. Like we have custom-made jewelry from the jewelers that's going to be auctioned off, right? Hint, hint, guys. We've got Valentine's Day coming up. Perfect gift. But we also have some fun experiences, too, that are going to be auctioned off. For example, Eurostone Cabinets and Countertops has donated 2 seats in the Eurostone Lounge for a Predators game, along with parking, and that includes all food and beverage and stuff, but also a signed poker tabletop from the last Nash Vegas event. So it's got the entire team signed on there. So it's really a unique item to put into an auction. But we've also got from one of our board members, Joey, and her husband, Joe Denny, this wonderful, wonderful basket. And it's actually like a Yeti cooler filled with about 9 or 10 gift cards from local businesses and restaurants here in Lebanon, down in the historic district. So you're getting about 8 date nights. Again, Valentine's Day coming up. Very, very nice gift to give each other. But it's a lot of fun. But we have those types of items, and our sponsors have been just wonderful in helping us out. So we're really excited. We think people are going to really enjoy the items, and we're hoping for a good turnout.
All right, I'm not sure. Is this strictly a silent auction, or are you going to have both?
No, both.
Okay.
So the smaller items will be silent auction, and that's going to go online. You can start bidding beforehand.
Okay.
So you can bid even if you're not attending the gala.
That's right.
Okay, right, all right.
And
then the live auction right there that evening.
That'll be the bigger things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. It generally gets people up and going. We'll see how competitive our audience is. But
Candy, I think you said earlier this is your second one. You did this last year?
Yes, we did it last February, and it was quite a success. We had over 250 people.
And you, I guess as long as you're successful, you're planning to continue. And here we are in the second one.
We're in the second year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is historic Lebanon Main Street's biggest fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you have a goal set necessarily, or just you for sure want? I think you would, if inflation for no other reason, you want to exceed last year, but
we would. We'd like to raise anywhere between $70,000 and $100,000. But so.
Well, the more they raise, Robin, the more you get to spend, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
No, Coleman. The more we can help the downtown district.
Yes, we spend to help the downtown district and business owners.
I sort of said that tongue. All right, it is time for us to take a break, so let's do that right here. You're listening to Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get a regular oil change, $39.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, $17.80 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Boy, it's loading up with more volume right now on 24 westbound as you come up through the Antioch area in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. They've been doing some road work out there in Rutherford County this morning on 24 eastbound near Sam Ridley. It's had traffic a little bit slow going eastbound as it continues to build down through Millersville, coming down from the north there on 65 southbound through that section of Sumner County all the way down into Goodlettsville. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has live entertainment tonight from 6 to 9. Check out all the details online at their website, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
1.5 seconds left, no timeouts. Here's your season. Negron gives it to Bird. Bird for the win. It's gone! He got it! College Hoops is back, and so is Cumberland University on the radio. Join me, John Boyce, in the booth for every Mid-South Conference game this regular and postseason for both men's and women's Phoenix basketball. Conference games are every Thursday starting at 5:30 and every Saturday starting at 1 o'clock. Phoenix basketball is right here on 98.9. Cumberland's a winner.
We continue here on this Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Let me reintroduce the three who are sitting at the table with me this morning. We have historic Lebanon Main Street Executive Director Robin Willis. We have the Historic Lebanon Chair Candy Partee, and the organization committee chair Mike Rowland. They're all with us this morning. We've talked extensively about the Founders Gala coming up on February the 8th. Ticket sales and silent auction. The ticket sales are still going. You
Yes.
get them online at
HistoricLebanon.com.
all right, historiclebanon.com, and then you can do the silent auction now up until the event, and then there'll be a live auction there at the event with some of the items that are the more valuable, more expensive, more desirable,
That's
I
right.
suppose.
That's right.
And Mike has pretty much got all this going. What we haven't talked a lot about, haven't talked hardly about what you do. So, Robin, I know you've got some things here you can tell us. One of the things that I remember, of course, is the Rock the Block concert on the square that you've had. You might talk for a minute about that. We're going to continue doing that?
We are.
You're planning to? Okay.
We are. We have 2 dates planned for this summer. They haven't been announced yet, but they will be soon. So we follow, at Historic Lebanon, we follow the 4-point Main Street approach through Main Street America, and all of our activities are centered around 4 central points. Economic vitality, so supporting the vitality of the downtown area. Design, so think about all of the physical assets that you see, signage, the beautification of the area. Promotion, so positioning downtown as a beautiful, vibrant, community-focused place to be. And then organization is all focused on our partnerships. We have great partnerships with the city, with the county, with the with the Wilco, CVB, and the Chamber of Commerce. And as a part of all of that work, we do things like Rock the Block, the inaugural art crawl that happened back in November. We do the Castle Heights Historic Places tour, and really just a lot of ways that we can highlight the Main Street District as a place that people want to visit.
Well, the future looked good for not only downtown historic district, but your organization as well.
It does, and we're very excited about next year, or as I say next year, it's this year already. I'm now realizing it's almost February. But for this year, we do have some plans. I know, we have the gala on February 8th, but we're raising money for a couple new programs that we have, and also to continue some old ones as well. But we will be launching a new grant program this year for Main Street business owners who want to do facade work and awning improvements on the front of their buildings, and so they can apply for those grants. Then we're also going to plan a training program for Main Street businesses. There are over 200 businesses in the Main Street District, and we want to help equip them with things like social media training on finances and taxes and how to hire people and retain employees. And we are planning on putting a program together to offer to them at no cost to them, so that we can help support them. And then obviously we'll also continue our partnership with the City of Lebanon on beautification efforts. So walkability, attracting more visitors to the area with lighting and signage and kiosks and things like that in downtown. So we have a lot planned for this year, and the gala is a key part of making that happen.
Yeah. Well, there comes times that there have been some times of maybe at least some mild controversy. Somebody wants to tear a building down.
Yes.
And it has a historic value, and then we get those that are for and against, and you're involved in that sometimes. But I think you have the. You want to do the right preservation. That's
right.
A lot of what your organization seems to be about.
Everything that we do is with the preservation mindset, to preserve and enrich our history.
Yeah. And Candy, you've been involved in this. You know what we're talking about here, obviously, and sometimes you win, sometimes the building gets torn down. Is that heartbreaking at times?
Well, it is. But, this county or the city has the Historic Commission that actually oversees, construction and renovation and things related to the historic buildings. We work with the city and I guess give our input on how we think preservation should be properly administered. But so we don't have any authority per se, but we do have opinions.
Yeah. Mike, have you been involved in any of this? You have your own ideas, no doubt. We all have an opinion.
So I think if you look at downtown Lebanon and the Main Street area, it is ever changing, and there are opportunities for growth as long as the growth fits within the Main Street idea in terms of beautification and bringing people down. I don't think that there's necessarily voice that we have to come in and say no on, because as Candy says, we don't have the authority. We're not the historical society. We're about the growth, and we're about the beauty and the vibrancy economically of the Main Street historic area in Lebanon.
Well, if somebody didn't take an interest in some of this, there are times when some of this could just go away. I mean, it would be gone and forgotten, and I don't think we want that to happen. We have quite a bit of history. Not only us, just about any small town, you have these issues that come up, and there's a certain amount of history that I think we all want to preserve if we can, including buildings.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Very true.
Well, we got about 6-7 minutes left here. Anything else you're doing, or you that we need to talk about this morning, Robbie?
I think I've mentioned most of what we have planned for this year. I know we want to talk a little more about the gala, but I would just encourage anyone that wants to know what we're doing and see what's happening in Main Street to follow us on social media and to go to our website, historiclebanon.com.
Well,
so
is there a way for people to join your organization?
There is, yes.
I mean, I don't know how big you're wanting to grow, but if somebody has a special interest or a certain talent they could contribute.
Yes, absolutely. We, as I mentioned, the 4 points before for Main Street, we have committees that are structured around that, and we do have some community members who have joined those committees because they have, ideas and energy towards one of those committees. So if anyone has an interest in seeing how they could fit within the organization, they can absolutely reach out to me. It's info@historiclebanon.com is my email address, and I would love to talk with anyone who wants to get more involved.
Good. All right, now, Mike, I think you have some advertisers, some sponsors,
Yes.
some people that you,
of course,
that you wanted to give special recognition to.
Just briefly.
It's not exactly a radio ad, but at least it's a little bit of a free mention here on the radio.
Yeah, it's a thank you for some
right.
wonderful people and businesses that are helping us out. I think that when you look at an event like the gala, you have to have the community rallying behind and helping. And the following organizations have really been wonderful to work with and have really helped out a lot. And so, we have many different organizations spanning from business to business to those serving customers here in Lebanon, the historic district. But a couple that I think are important to mention. One is our presenting sponsor, which is Nocturnal, which is a B2B logistics company here in Lebanon. But also, Golden Bear Liquor is providing all of the libations, and that includes our champagne bar and our bourbon bar. I mean, this is going to be a really fun event, and so thank you to them. And then we couldn't do it without the support and the space from the mill. And so if you haven't been to the mill recently, please go to the mill. There's some new restaurants there. It's a lot of fun. It's a great space, and we're really excited to host our gala there for the second year in a row.
Well, as I have passed by, I have seen some renovation going on there. One of those buildings where people made blankets or whatever they did years ago has been torn down. That didn't need to be preserved, I don't suppose. But there's quite a history over there, and of course, I don't know, Candy, you probably remember when 6 o'clock in the morning that whistle blew.
No, that was before my time in moving to Lebanon. So, but I did hear. Al always told me about that, and so I know about it.
Yeah. Well, I lived out at Centerville, and my daddy always had this radio station on, and when it started. Well, when WCOR started in 1949, they were in a second story building right off Square there, and you could hear the whistle blow on the radio, and then go out the door and hear it reach the airway, reach the air at several at about maybe a 5-second interval or something. I always thought that was funny, but they also blew it in the afternoon at 2 and 3 o'clock, and you could hear it for 8 to 10 miles out the way. That's one of the things we don't have anymore, but we can remember and talk about. But anyway, this is we kind of wrap this up here. A couple of minutes left. We'll talk about the gala again, but it's going to be at the Mill.
Correct.
And it's going to be on the 9th.
No, the 8th. Saturday the 8th.
Saturday the 8th of February.
5:30.
All right. And it's quite an event. Now, you said you're going to be cutting off ticket sales Monday?
On Monday, yes.
So you've got from now through Monday?
Through Monday night at midnight.
Right. Okay. And tell us again what all you're going to get. Who did that earlier?
Well, I can do that.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. Come in, and you can get your picture made at the photo booth, get you a cocktail, go check out the silent auction items. There'll be hors d'oeuvres, then dinner starting at 7:30. And we have live jazz music from 12 South starting then.
Yeah, you told it, and we probably emphasize again what a great band you've got.
Yes, they are a very exciting band.
Yeah.
Very highly anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking forward to having them. And they will play through the evening after the silent auction till 11:30. So then we have dinner with Two Fat Men Catering, and it was wonderful last year, and I know it's going to be extra special again this year. Then we have desserts from Tennessee Cheesecake, and then we have the Bourbon and Bubbles Bar with the champagne and bourbon. That's going to be fun, and the live auction. So it's going to be a great night.
And you can get tickets online.
Yes, sir.
And how much are they?
$250,
right.
historiclebanon.com.
All right. Well, that kind of covers it pretty well. Mike Rowland, we appreciate having you with us this morning, and
Thanks so much
all the good work you have done here to help bring this about. And Robin Willis, you're just doing your job, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coleman.
As the executive director of Historic Lebanon, Candy Partee, thank you so much for getting all this lined up and for what you're doing
We're
as
glad
the
to be
Historic
here.
Lebanon chair.
Thanks for asking us.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Well,
you.
that's it for Wednesday. Thank you so much for being on with us this morning, and for our guests who've told us about this big event. And we'll just invite you to join us tomorrow for the Thursday edition. And until tomorrow, I wish you a wonderful day.